Hey, it's episode 5 of the podcast, Fat Brain, Thin Brain. And today's episode is a good one because we can all relate to this. Everyone can relate to this. Fat or thin, failed diets. Yes, failed diets. More than fatty ones, all these ones you see in magazines and stuff. We're going to talk about them all and why they failed.
Be strong.
Episode 5 of Fat Brain, Thin Brain. I'm Lewis, and over there in Denmark, that's Natasha. Hi, Natasha.
Hey. Yeah.
As you heard in the intro, today's episode is going to be about failed diets.
Failed diets? What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we're going to split this episode down into 4 main parts so that if you want to follow along and you can understand where the hell we are during the podcast, then the first part we're going to dive straight into what diets have we tried? Probably a big difference between us two there. And second part of the podcast, we're going to kind of focus on, did they work? Which will lead us into the third part of the podcast to explain what effect did a failed diet, therefore if they didn't work, what effect did that have on us mentally? Because we're mental creatures down at heart.
Yes.
And then that brings us to the last part where we are going to talk about what is it about diets that don't work? Why do they just fail? Is it down to us or is it down to the diet itself? So I think let's just jump straight into, the first area of our podcast, which is the bits about what diets have we actually tried? Because I think that's going to be a massive difference between us two.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I've been overweight since I was about 16, 17. So it's been a thing all the way through, doing lots of different diets and stuff like that. So I've done everything that you could think of apart from, I don't think I ever done the, what's the one with all the meats and stuff? They eat just meat and potatoes.
I don't know why I literally.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
I don't know about diets.
So the Atkins diet, that's the only one I haven't tried, even though there's something about it that led me to it, because it's meat and potatoes.
It's only eating meat?
Yeah, and potatoes. It works for these people that were doing it, and it's crazy. There's even a diet that I looked at once called the caveman diet, where you just have things that a caveman would have lived on. So it would be meat, berries, pulses, rocks.
Mud pies.
If you watch the Flintstones, they had like a drive-through in there and everything, didn't they? So
so you basically just went to McDonald's every day and
exactly. They went there and had that huge, massive spare rib thing on each side of his car, didn't he? But yeah, so there's so many different diets out there.
Which ones have you tried, though?
Me personally?
Yes.
This guy right here, well, as you can see, not a lot of them. So no, I tried quite a few. One of the ones that worked for me was the 5-2 diet, which was, again,
is what?
Something that I came to later on, the 5-2 diet. So basically, you have 5 days where you eat sensibly, and then you have 2 days where you fast. So it's fasting for 2 days. You pick the 2 days you want to do. So you could fast on the Monday and the Sunday.
I was going to say, 2 days in a row?
What? Not necessarily. I just got that one a little bit wrong. So you'd have 2 separate days where you'd fast on them days. So you'll have just water, no juice, nothing like that.
I think I would die.
On them days, it's really, really good, and you get instant results as well. But it's not the right results you want to see.
Of course, you get instant results. You're starving.
Yeah, so you're eating between 1,500 and 2,000 calories per day, except for the days where you're fasting. So because you're eating so little, and then you're, fasting on them 2 days, you do see a better look on the scales than what I'm currently getting now. But it's not addressing the actual elephant in the room at all. Which as we come to later,
sustain that throughout your entire life, or is it
can't really
do it?
It's a whole thing you've got to do it for. One of the worst ones I've done was a friend of mine who is struggled with his weight as well. He had a detox diet plan which cost like 100 and something quid.
I've seen quite a lot of people doing these with different detox shakes.
Yeah, with aloe vera things. Some of these things that I had to down and drink are gross. That was the worst one I ever tried, which was just didn't work for me. But there's so many out there. I
The
mean,
5-2, the 5-2-2-5.
yeah, the 5-2 diet, yeah, and
That didn't work.
no, sorry, not the 5-2. It was the detox diet.
Oh yeah,
It
sorry.
made me feel
detox.
physically ill. It made me feel.
How long did you do it for? A week?
No, you meant to do it for 2 weeks or 28 days. I can't remember which one it is. It's either 14 days or 28 days. And I lasted 3 days. And then it turned out when I went to the doctors for a routine checkup afterwards, she turned around and said, you should be taking such and such in your diet because of your stomach problems. But obviously,
okay,
nothing, because you don't, it's not a dietitian you're going to or a GP or anything like that. You don't know what's good for you or not.
See, I heard these detox diets don't actually work in the long run because people, they normally do it in January, don't they? So they all just veg and eat through December, get drunk a lot. And then everyone thinks that by doing a couple of weeks of detoxing in January cleanses the body forever, or at least until the following year when they'll detox again. And it's just the worst concept for me. It just doesn't work, doesn't compute.
Yeah, but that sort of thing is not very good. Not very good for the stomach, not very good for your general health or anything.
You've tried this 5-2, you've tried the detox diet. What else have you tried?
So there's a diet out there as well that I've tried recently, but this was actually told to me to try it before what was meant to be coming later on. So I went to the GP, and we've always discussed my blood pressure, my weight, and all that sort of stuff. And in the last 12 months or so, he's decided to put me on the list for to have surgery, to have stomach bypass surgery. And one of the things you need to get yourself geared up for, and it's an actual medical thing they want you to do before this surgery, is a 7-day milk diet. So it's just drinking milk morning, noon, and night, and then having a small snack in the evening. 7 days. This one gives your.
So you're not allowed water, or you can still have water?
You're allowed water, yeah. That's it. But I think it does something to do with your liver or something like that, or something. There's something that it makes stronger while you have. Oh no, it shrinks stuff down. Sorry, yeah, it shrinks stuff down. So where I'm big, I've got a bigger liver, a bigger heart, and bigger organs and stuff. It shrinks it down ready for surgery.
Milk is anti-inflammatory.
Yeah. So then when they open you up to go in keyhole, there's more room for them to play around with. I could get the proper the actual medical.
Yeah. I want the facts on that one. Yeah, I want the facts on that one. I've never heard of anti-inflammatory.
This is told by the doctor, and it's like, it sounds. Well, I love milk, and I know obviously you're a vegan and stuff, so it's not to be on your agenda.
No good for me. Oat milk. I wonder if it's the same.
Yeah, probably not. So it's one of them things that I thought, I've never heard of that before. Surely it can't be real. And yet GP's gone on there. Because even though your GP tells you, you go, no, sometimes, don't you? So when you Google it and you see Google saying, yeah, you've got the milk diet.
Yeah, because Google's always right.
You go to Google first, don't you?
If it's not on Wiki or Google,
Exactly. It's got to be wrong. So the milk diet is one of the things that I thought about going on to. But again.
But that's only for surgery.
Yeah, but they said
they would never recommend that as a lifestyle.
No. So they said maybe try it before the surgery just to see whether your body can handle it, because not everybody's body can handle that much milk in it. And it was it full fat milk or semi-skimmed milk? I
wouldn't be able to do it because I'm lactose.
No, of course you wouldn't. No, so it'd be no good for every person to do. So that's why I wouldn't encourage to do it. But yeah, So we've touched upon the milk one. That's the latest one I've done anyway.
Have you done? What's the other one? The other one is like, I don't know. I've done 2, and I think I did them more for support for other people.
Okay.
Which I'm a sucker for stuff like that. So if somebody wants to do a diet but they don't feel like they've got the confidence or the will to go through with keeping up with it, I'll be like, I'll do it with you if you want, just as moral support, right? I am probably in the background eating some crisps somewhere as well to eat. Crisps. Yeah. Crisp monster. But there's 2 that I've tried. One was the soup diet. Yeah. And to be honest, that just really meant having soup for lunch, We did. We
Okay.
didn't make it like a major thing. So we had breakfast. We wouldn't snack. Then we would have only soup, so no bread with
Yeah.
it, or anything like that for lunch. And then we would have dinner. Actually, I can't even remember if we had soup for dinner. We may have just had soup for dinner
That's
as
a bit
well.
too much, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I did. I actually, for mine, well, both of us, we did homemade soups. So we
Oh,
were
okay. So that's
really
better
putting
because you know
in,
what's in there then.
yeah, and we were making sure they were really full, right, with
Yeah.
everything that we needed. And then the other thing I tried, which was just cutting out like heavy carbs, just potatoes and bread,
Oh, right. Okay.
which I found that did have quite a quick effect on a body like
Oh,
mine.
crumbs. It will. Yeah. Yeah.
It stopped me having kind of bloated feelings. But I eat bread and potatoes now, and I just don't eat too much of it. Like if
No.
there's
Yeah. Of course.
if there's potatoes on the table to take, because we often just set our table up with all the different things, and then people take what they want rather than set a plate up.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Because I have fussy kids, so some want some than others. So if
Yeah.
there's a bowl of potatoes, I maybe take one or two. So I just I
Yeah.
have them, but I just don't. I have more of everything else.
Yeah.
So, but they're the only two I've tried.
So soup diet.
Have you ever
and
tried this? There's
cutting out.
paleo diet. What
That sounds
I
like
guess,
something a horse would do.
yeah, I'm actually not entirely sure what goes into a paleo. I'm not very knowledgeable about them because I don't do
This is
them.
the thing. It's like we said at the beginning of the podcast today. It's not really a thing you actually need to think about, isn't it? Because
No,
everyone has a diet of their own kind. Because obviously a diet means the food
I'm
you
on a
consume.
vegan diet, but
Yeah, but it's not a diet.
that's
is
a
it?
lifestyle
It's,
choice. That's
yeah,
something I
exactly.
can do
It's
every
not
day for the rest of my life, and not just for a period of time.
exactly, which is what they need to address when you're doing these diets. So it's not just obviously the diets I've been on that have been faddy or I've seen on the TV or something like that. Obviously, I've attended Slimming World in the past as well, which is obviously a diet as well. And they tell you how to eat certain foods and what to have on your plate and all that sort of stuff. But for me, that didn't work for me as well as I wanted it to. And again, it works for a lot of people, but not for me.
And I hate calorie counting. Like if I have to count anything and weighing your food,
having to weigh food. Exactly. Most of us are. And if you say you're wasting a lot of time weighing your food when you could be actually having more time having fun somewhere. So for me,
it depends where you lay your importance value. I mean, if your weight is important to you, then you should actually spend time on doing it properly.
Weighing it out. So maybe that was why it didn't work for me, because I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should have done. Because at the very, very beginning of the course, the class I went to, they say straight away, this isn't a calorie counting diet. Okay, so that's cool, brilliant. Let's think outside the box. The next thing the lady that took the group said to me was, there's this whole piece of plate of, it's got cooked broccoli on there, cabbage, and two other veggies on there, and it's like really big plate of nice looking food, And then there's a Freddo bar. Now in the UK, a Freddo bar is a little piece of Cadbury chocolate in like the shape of a frog.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Freddo bars?
I know.
Obviously, they're 25p, right? And it's a little morsel treat. Straight away, the lady says to me, what would you rather have, this plate of stuff or this Freddo bar? And I said, well, okay, obviously you'd go for the plate of stuff. Yeah, that's correct, because that's got 93 calories in it and the Freddo bar's got 95 calories in it. That instantly debuffs what she just said about it's not a calorie counting diet.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? So,
yeah,
choose your weapon of choice. To me, it would have been really the Freddo bar, because I do like that little shot of.
And I think it's actually it's a weird way to explain it, because are we saying I've got to choose this for my dinner, or are we saying is this a snack?
What are we saying?
Because
exactly.
Then if it's a snack, I want to eat the Freddo bar because it's quick, it's easy.
Yeah.
And at least for someone like me that's active, I'm going to burn 93 calories just by thinking about it, I think. So
someone of my weight, when I started at Slimming World, I started at 26 stone, and someone of my weight then would work off that 95 calories just by getting up in the morning. So because your body's so heavy, so big and whatever, it burns off a lot more calories than need be just doing general tasks.
I think the misconception is you could have one, but just don't have 20 of them. Yeah.
Exactly, and that comes down to the mindset again, doesn't it? So it all boils down to one thing. So I've tried all these. Well, they are faddy diets in my case. When I lost the 10 stone, it was down to me doing set meals for myself, which looking back on, I've actually got the ingredients to do it again now because it actually works. But it started off with a bowl of muesli, like unsweetened muesli. It's just not very nice sometimes, but it was enough to get you that morning edge.
I tried to eat it this morning, actually, muesli, and I'm just...
Sometimes
it's those mixed ones in the cereal boxes where there's like nuts and things in. That's nice. But this morning I just tried to make a bit of porridge with some peanut butter and...
Oh, no.
I put peanut butter and Nutella. That's really unhealthy, I know. But,
just a little bit, yeah.
So, but I need it to... Obviously, and I was just eating it like, no, I'm not a porridge person. Not a porridge person.
No, not me. It's disgusting. So I looked at it as a chore, but then because my one of choice was Asda's own brand one. It's very, very cheap, but it's very, very tasty and had a lot of stuff in there. So, but obviously the richer and posher I got, I went to one that was born and raised in Switzerland, should we say? You'll know which one it is if you're from the UK, obviously. And it was a chore to eat this, but it took so long to eat because it was so nutty and fruity, and you're constantly chewing away on stuff. So it's making your
burning calories. Just eat it. Yeah.
Crumbs, yeah, and your jaw would ache afterwards and all that. So I loved it, right? Obviously with skim milk, and that was my go-to breakfast. My lunch would have been 2 pita bread, whole milk pita bread, just lightly toasted with low-fat cream cheese and gherkins inside. And then for my evening, it'd be some sort of steamed fish or some sort of steamed veg with it. And I ate that religiously, and I lost 10 stone, right? But looking back on it,
just by eating, or were you also being active?
Again, looking back, I now know I could have eaten nearly enough what I'm eating now if I wanted to. That variety every day, have something different for tea every day. It didn't need to be that because I was doing 2 hours at the gym every day, and I was doing, riding my bike to work and back, which is 22 miles a day. And then me and a pal would do easy 60 miles on Saturday on the bikes as well. So my lifestyle then was a lot better, and it was a lot more geared for the outside and the gym and that sort of stuff. I got more of an addiction from exercise, the endorphins being released, all that sort of stuff in my bloodstream than I did from what I was getting from the food. So the food then became, as you discussed before, it was then just fuel to get me going for the day. So that I did have a total different respect for food at that point. But going back to what diets I've tried all these fatty ones and all this other stuff. And then I tried, sorry, my cats are playing football in the hallway. And I then spoke to the doctors. This was back in 2007, 8 maybe. And they said, right, there's a couple of medicines we can get you on to lose the weight. And I said, oh, brilliant. That sounds even better. So I went on this one first. And it's basically an appetite suppressant. And Jesus Christ, my auntie warned me about it. Yeah, my auntie warned me about it because she'd been on it. You take 1 or 2 and you go, okay, I'm not really feeling anything. On day 3, you realise you've gone all day without eating anything because you're not hungry at all, right? But then that was the worst thing. So you'd have to then
Sorry, you got that from where, sorry?
The doctors. Yeah, so it's I can't remember what it's called. But on day 3, I totally forgot about food. So I asked my auntie what she'd done about it. She used to set an alarm for 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and then about 7 o'clock in the evening. So it reminded her to go and eat something as well. And she'd eat 3 sensible meals, but obviously this appetite suppressant would make you totally forget about food. So I was like, okay, this is surreal. This is fantastic. Yeah. On the Friday, my sister came to see me, and I lived up this top of this really nice building in Southsea. And there's loads of stairs, and I'd let them in from downstairs, and you could hear these 2 people walk up the stairs, all out of breath because they're smokers as well, quite fit and healthy, but they're smokers coming up the stairs. I opened my door. How you going, sis? She went, Jesus, like that. I went, what's up? She went, you don't have a mirror, do you? I was like, as we've discussed before, no mirrors. Yeah. I went, no, what? She took a picture of my face on her shit phone she had back then. took a picture of my face and she turned around and she went, look at your face. Swollen, all there, all this was swollen. My eyes were swelling up and everything. So I was having an allergic reaction to these tablets.
Shit!
So
yeah.
luckily enough, my doctor's surgery is literally right outside my property, which is brilliant. So I run down there and I said to the receptionist, "Can I see Doctor whatever his name was?" They got me in. It's like, you've having an allergic reaction. You need to go straight to A&E, and then they give you the stuff to get. So I've gone there, have this stuff fitted, and I was like, okay, so. It's quite funny as a fat bloke going into like a hospital or something like that, or going for routine tests and stuff. And they say, is there anything you're allergic to, Lewis, at all? Well, there is this one thing.
There's this tablet I'm taking.
Appetite suppressant. And they look at your belly instantly and go, oh, I can see that, you fat prick. And I just think that's hilarious. So
that's crazy. Okay. So did any of them, I think we can move this into then that segment 2, because now, did any of them work?
Yes.
So actually, the one that stands out is the one that you said with the pre-planning your meals.
That one definitely worked.
But you're also, the connection here is that you were also being very active in your life. So you were eating, you were eating well, and you were maintaining a good active lifestyle.
100%. I mean, when the viewers want to see what I looked like back then, I did put some stuff on our Facebook page, and I'll put some more stuff up later on. Yeah. I've got a before and after, like Transformation Tuesday, but it's the other way around. So it's 2013 me and now me, and it's like, wow, okay, a big difference.
Okay.
You know, the skinny guy at the bar, and he's like all quite gaunt in the face almost, with his beer around me and stuff, and I look completely different to what I look like now. So I'd done that, and I thought, wow, this is fantastic, but it wasn't addressing the brain. And so that one worked, but only worked for a certain period. So the other one that actually worked was, again, a medicated one that was given to me by the doctors again. It's called Orlistat. And I can't... Orlistat. And it's Orlistat, yeah. So basically what you do is you take these 3 tablets per day with your meals, right? And it's available now in a lower dosage in Superdrug, Boots, them sort of places now, and you'll know which one it is, viewers, when I tell you about it. So you take this tablet, you eat your normal meal, and then you eat your lunch and you eat dinner with these tablets. The next day, you'll start going to the toilet a lot. So basically what these pills do is whatever you consume, whatever you consume, these smart little, clever little tablets take the fat from that meal and pass it straight through you. So it's not going in you at all. So it takes the fat out and it goes into the toilet. And now the first time you have one of these toilets, I won't go too graphic on it.
I was going to say, what is that going to do to your poo?
It's an oil slick in the toilet.
Oh.
An actual, no. You know when you see like the emptying out the fish and chip fryer in a chip shop or something, and you see all that glutinous, horrible fat that's going down the drain? That's what you wake up to, and it's like, whoa. So they encourage you to do 10 grams of fat per meal if you can. And if you stick to 30 grams of fat per day, which is loads less than what your average person's meant to have, you shouldn't have them toilet instants. They should slowly, gradually work them way out. It was fantastic. And now I would encourage anyone to try the Zenical, it's called as well, it's the actual medical name. It's in, like I say, Boots and Superdrug and that sort of places. It's quite expensive. It's like 25 quid for 2 weeks courses of it. But I paid nothing for it. But the massive downside is, out of nowhere, you're going to poo yourself. Because the feeling of needing to go to the toilet, you may not feel it at all day. And then all of a sudden you go, ooh. And in that moment where you go, ooh, it's like you've got jelly belly. So you cannot walk too far. So you have to plan your day around these tablets and this thing. So after a while, yes, the weight was coming off really well, but it was then ruining my relationship with food. It was ruining my relationship with my girlfriend at that time. It was ruining my social life as well, because if you want to go out drinking or something, then you're going to have to go.
It sounds like a nightmare. I'm just listening to it thinking,
exactly.
Why is it just doctors seem to go, oh, you've got a weight problem. Oh, you want to lose weight? Here, take this tablet. It's always take this tablet.
Yeah, I've tried to push a lot, and I know some in Hampshire they don't do it anymore, but they used to do it back in the day. But other counties in the UK still do it. They can actually prescribe you 3 months free access to any local gym. So that to me is a better idea to do.
Yeah,
it's completely free for you, so you can go in.
And the thing
and
is,
do
by
it.
being
So,
in a gym and having exercise, you don't only
yeah,
just lose the weight, but you
yeah,
increase like your endorphins, you
of course you do.
increase your serotonin,
Yeah.
you increase your
So all
dopamine,
the
and you look at
natural,
yourself and go, I'm looking good. I've actually lost
exactly.
some weight, and I'm actually getting, and you're contouring your body. You're not just
Yeah,
losing weight.
and you're seeing the results more quickly. Not quickly,
Yeah.
but you're seeing the results in a more positive way.
Might be more sociable for you as well.
Exactly. I'm a talkative person, as you all will know. So I used to make a lot of friends in the gym, and got talking to a lot of people. And there was one time when I was on a bit of apparatus, and I thought, oh, I'm doing really well at this. This big, massive bloke comes over, and I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna want to use this machine. Oh, I'm gonna have to get off. Anyway, how you going, mate? You all right? I was like, yeah. Just finishing up, and I'll be done. I was like, mate, can I just say one thing? I was like, yeah. I see you in the gym quite a bit. I was like, yeah, thanks, mate. Looking well, aren't it? Like that. He's huge, right?
Yeah.
And then I've gone, yeah, love this one. Oh, does wonders to my legs. Perfect. He said, you're doing it all wrong, then, mate. I said, am I? Okay.
I like those people that come over and give some tips.
Yeah. So I thought he was being a bit of a douchebag at first, but then the more he sort of told me about it, he went, look, I'll show you. And I'm on this thing, and I thought it was a thigh and leg dip thing. So I was going all the way down on these things and all that, just to give you a little perspective. Yeah. But it wasn't. It was tiptoes on this bottom bar, and you literally just raised your heels like that. So
so your calves.
Yeah, so it meant to do your calves. And I was doing the whole stack, 150 kilos on my legs. I'm like, oh, I am a machine, like that. Yeah. He's gone, no, mate. He dropped it down to me to like 3 little blocks at the top, and I was like, come off it, like that. Oh my God. When I finally got on there and started doing it, I was like, shit, this is the real deal. This guy knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So it just totally changed. But then again, I think the gym is a great place, but it's also a negative place for some people too. We'll do a whole episode.
There's whole issues with things like gyms,
yeah.
Okay, so again, for you, pills do work, but you had some very odd effects from them. Which it might work for you physically for the weight, but there's a lot of things around pills that don't work.
And long-term effects from them.
And long-term effects, okay. So really the main thing still that we're coming back to is eat healthy but stay active is really what you found has worked as a combination, rather than just focusing on food only. And I'm a great believer in that, because I don't think that you can just lose weight by eating food.
No.
Like eating the right foods will not lose just the weight. It will change things for you, but it essentially will not give you the full package.
Again, the weight loss clubs and stuff don't openly speak massively about exercise and that sort of stuff along with it.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Such a huge fail.
But obviously, that my mate Steve-O, my girlfriend's so lazy, and she'll admit she's lazy. She'll do maybe 9,000 to 10,000 steps a day, but because she's eaten so little, she has lost a lot of weight. But again, I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's a healthy weight loss. But that's, again, my own personal opinion. Yeah. It's not a healthy way to look at stuff, because she's still got a really bad relationship with food.
It's like you're just focusing on this elephant in the room of weight. And then it's like you get programmed that the only way to deal with the weight is your food. But that's like just saying, well, here's one crutch to hold you up, but really you're missing another crutch to really support you. And that other crutch essentially is exercise. But there's also a third crutch, because it's also the mental aspect. Of course, right? So it's getting in touch with yourself mentally. It's actually learning to accept yourself and your demons and anything that you dislike about yourself. So you need to get yourself there in 3 ways: food intake, your exercise, and your mental conditioning.
100%.
And if you don't do those 3, you won't succeed forever.
I think you are hitting the nail on the head with the crutch side of things. The crutch, you need one crutch for this, one crutch for that, and obviously a third crutch for your brain.
Yeah.
If you haven't got all three crutches, I don't think you could ever go crutchless.
Oh.
Can you?
Hello.
Exactly. Oh,
Are you saying-
Metrum.
No,
Yeah, so I don't think you could ever go crutch.
not crutchless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you could ever go that way. So you'd always need that support. All these fatty diets we talked about, there's always a need for that fatty diet, isn't there? There's always that need. Like me and JP were saying last night, with these slimming clubs and all that sort of stuff, half of their ethos, I'd maybe say a third of their ethos is about you as a person. The other 2/3 about the money they can generate from that one person. So they don't want you to go, this is a quick fix, here it is, see you later, because they want ongoing revenue from you, which if you're that sort of person, you can spare that sort of money, then, you know, I'm not saying no to it, but if you are on a budget, like I have now become massively, as you all know, it then puts myself £20 a month, plus bus fare to get up there, plus all this other stuff as well. It was just working out far too expensive to do. And now I spend half of that on my food for the week now, and it's got me in a better place. I'm going to say spiritually as well as mentally, because again, none of these people are trained dietitians. They're not trained nutritionists. They're not trained personal trainers. They're just people that have been on one of these courses already, done quite well on it, and decided they want to invest and do their own groups. So we cannot state firmly enough that we're not against these programs for lots of people. It just didn't work for me. And Natasha's never been to one of them places, thank God, because she's never needed it.
Yeah, I've never had to think about it.
It's a monetary value as well that they're looking at. And for you, you're not a monetary value. You're a person. You have feelings, you have mindsets, you have feelings, you have heart, you have sadness, happiness, and all. So they need to look into more of that. If they did, they'd probably have to charge a lot more than they do. So this is why we're not wanting people to, you know, come and join us like disciples or anything, are we? We're just trying to get across to them for free.
I think I'm just
the way that we believe. Exactly. We're trying to give them a slap around the chops and say, look, you need to get this sorted first before, So going back to the last point 4, which is like, you know, rounding up of everything, isn't it? So, you know, you've tried the soup diet.
God, you're such a blooming talker. You kind of missed out point 3, didn't you? So let's just steady on, Lewis.
Point 3, Natasha.
Jesus. Okay, so point 3 was really about what effect does a failed diet have on you mentally?
Yes.
So if you try a diet for you mentally psych yourself up. This is how I see it. Okay, for the next week or the next month, I'm going to do this. And when you get to the end of that period, or in some of your cases, partway through and then having to emergency stop, when you get to the end of that period and you realize that it's not worked versus the ones that have worked, how do you feel mentally?
Yes, so that's a good thing, because obviously you done the 2 diets, so this is probably going to be more about the way
let's hands down state for the record. When I do a diet, it has instantaneous effect, because if I change my eating habits to the point where I'm reducing intake of food, not only do I become a grouch because I get hangry, I often will get the shakes if I'm not getting enough into my body. Because I am a smaller person, I seem to require energy going in all the time. So if I change, I don't enjoy diets because they somehow affect me in a bad way. But of course, they make me thinner a lot quicker. But I also don't like that, because if I can see weight suddenly drops off quite quickly, I stop, because I don't really want to lose. Like I said, I did it for support for people. So I'd often say to people, I'll do it with you for maybe a week, but I can't do it more than that, because it will affect, then I'll look like I'm an anorexic, and I don't want to look like that either. So
of course,
you know, and it's stupid. I mean, it's silly for me to do a diet. I don't need to diet. So I literally am doing it to support others. But for you,
which is
I go, that worked, but I feel like a douche because I'm biting everyone's head off, or I feel
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
I've got
You're
the
not.
shakes, or I get dizzy, and then I have to ram a chocolate bar in my mouth to
I
compensate.
mean, that's really good that you've mentioned the shakes and you've mentioned the angriness and all that sort of stuff, because one thing they don't tell you on these courses or on the beginning of these fatty diets and stuff, if you've never done a diet before, you don't know what's coming. When you're my size, well, even now still, when you're my size, when you go onto one of these diets, one thing they won't tell you about is the hunger pains. So the hunger pains would be awful. You'd have actual bad cramps in your stomach. You'd have, I get the shakes quite a bit after 2 or 3 days.
Which essentially is the action of starvation.
Yeah, exactly. So you're reducing the things that you're intaking, so less sugar, less salts, and all the things that you should be having in your diet in moderation. You're reducing too much down on most of these diets. So I would get the shakes, I would get the headaches and withdrawals from the less sugar, the no caffeine, that sort of stuff. And what they don't tell you how long it's going to last for. For me, that would last normally 7 to 10 days. If I could get past that on a diet, the diet's going to work. I think it would work to a certain point, but it won't be a longevity. But
you've got to put yourself through hell for 7 to 10.
But you've got to put so you've got to be in the right. Exactly, that look is exactly what it is. So
I just go, why would you do that?
Why? That 7 to 10 days, you are horrible to be with. Luckily, I don't live with my girlfriend, but you're horrible to be with. Happy, you wake up and you feel a little bit drunk because you haven't got enough sugar in you, shakes sort of thing, and then you start worrying that maybe it's something else, but then it's hunger pains and you're just starving yourself in that first bit. Once your body gets used to it, it then becomes a lot easier. But again, the longevity won't be there because it's not addressing the real thing that is the crux of most people's failure to diet, which is the brain.
When it does fail, what happens to you?
Case in point, if you've done really, really well all week long, you've done a bit of exercise, you've ate religiously well, and you stuck to everything you meant to do, but then you can step on them scales again, and they say 2 pounds heavier than what you were last week. Instantly, you crash, and you instantly go, right, okay, give up.
Throw all the toys out the pram. I'm not doing it anymore. I hate you. Yeah.
Mine was £1.50 at Slimming World, and I didn't talk to my girlfriend that evening when we went home. I didn't talk to her the next day. It was nothing to do with her. But they don't explain to you. Yes, I'd done 40 miles of walking that week, and yes, I'd done really, really well on the foods I'd eaten all week, and no cherry coke and stuff. So I thought to myself, this is going to be a really good loss on the scales today.
I think you just forgot to have a pee before you went in.
No, because you've managed to do that, and you poo, nice big poo as well, and you do all these things.
Would you prep before you got weighed? Like, would you go? I need to make sure I have a poo and a pee. Don't drink anything for at least.
Pretty much, yeah. But our group was at 8 o'clock in the evening because obviously Lindsay's work and whatnot. So you'd go. A lot of people would actually openly say in groups that they starved themselves until weigh-in.
No,
that's ridiculous. What? Yeah, and obviously when it reopened after COVID,
weigh-in. It's not even a real.
Exactly, exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
So after the lockdown and it became open again, we were allowed to go back because of the COVID and all that sort of stuff. There was you weren't allowed to strip down. You weren't allowed to go on there barefoot on the scales. You weren't allowed to do lots of other things.
Yeah, because you coughed all over your feet.
Exactly. It's so funny though. It was so funny. So these women would come and it's freezing cold outside, and they'd come in these little slinky, almost like nighties that they're wearing.
Oh, right, because they don't want to add weight.
The lightest looking flip flops you've ever seen. And there's me that comes in my, always wear shorts, t-shirt, trainers on still, and I'd get on there with all the stuff in my pockets still and all that. Just weigh myself. How much I want. It's still going to tell you what you actually weigh, isn't it? So it's not a problem. And I just think it just annoyed me. They don't tell you though that yes, you've done that week of really good exercise and you've ate really well, but they don't tell you that £1.50 is exercise weight. So the next time you weigh yourself, next time you weigh yourself, it could be £6-7 off, but your body hasn't caught up with the weight on the scales just yet. So it then made me think to myself, like 2 or 3 days later, it made me think to myself, how did I feel when I walked in there? And I felt amazing. My t-shirts were fitting that I hadn't worn for ages because they were a lot smaller than what I was used to. My shorts were falling down, and to the point where I'd be mooning people by accident. because I hadn't got a belt on, and they were now
I mean,
really loose.
your
really
builder's
cool.
butt would be hanging out.
Exactly. Someone put a pencil in there once, and it just slipped straight through. It was good. And you know, the only problem with that was people were trying to park a bike in there. So, but then I'd go in and I felt amazing, you know, and it was like, yeah, I feel really good. I'm gonna get a good way.
Okay, but anyone that's watching this on YouTube, I love that one of your cats is now it's on the cupboard behind you.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's a mindset thing. I felt brilliant about myself, but then the scales told me, whoa.
Okay, so whenever you've done these diets that are for a period of time, and you got to the end and you went, it doesn't work. I haven't lost weight, or I have lost weight, but I feel awful in myself, or I can't maintain this because it's too complicated to continue.
Yeah.
Would you feel like just giving up everything? Would you comfort eat? Would you do? I
wouldn't go as far as comfort eating, but the old me would come back.
No, but would you be like sod dieting and go down to McDonald's, or you know, or something like that?
This time round, no, but earlier earlier diets, yes, I'd just go, right, okay, let's get a pizza up tonight or whatever, and let's just, you know, throw caution to the wind. Who cares at the minute? I would never, once I've tried a diet as well, apart from my own version of the muesli and that bit, I wouldn't go back to another diet again. So I won't go, so now I've finished Slimming World, I won't go back there again.
No.
It wasn't for me. So I wouldn't go back there. So I'd never go back on an old diet again because it didn't work. My brain set has changed, but I didn't have a good relationship with that diet. So
I can confirm to you now, your brain still hasn't changed, but you know, there's a lot of reasons for that.
It's changed a lot.
There's changes happening, but I can still see there's room for improvement. But that's our off podcast talks.
Yeah. So this time round, This time round, it's actually going. It's actually saying to myself, after that £1.5 pound add-on that I had at group.
That was quite a catalytic moment, I think, for you.
That was the spiritual end of fat brain. Let's get it over to the thin brain scenario.
I need to speak to a thin brain.
This was it. So
of my life.
Yeah, exactly. So like you said earlier, you said, would I then go indulge and go, oh, would I have this? Would I have that as a comfort from that horrible experience?
Yeah.
I would have done normally, but I didn't. I came home, had a normal tea I would normally have.
And
obviously I had money at that point. Exactly, I had money at that point, so I could have got I could have got a takeaway or something like that, but I didn't. I carried on doing what I was doing. I carried on walking, and that was then like, wow, okay, it didn't affect me that much after all, because I carried on still. But what I'm doing now, I'm actually losing decent weight every single week doing what
you're
I'm
losing
doing
consistent weight now, which I
which is much more healthy. It doesn't need to be 8 pounds a week off.
I think for at least for the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you've lost somewhere between 5 to 6.5 pounds that you've updated with.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And it's a consistently very similar weight. So it's not like you've lost £1 1 week, £5 another week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I weighed myself on Monday, I had a weight loss still, but it wasn't nowhere near what I was used to. But I was actually expecting a weight on because I haven't walked because of the knee and the demons and the depression and whatnot. I haven't been as much doing stuff in the house. I haven't done a lot of stuff like that. So I was expecting to add on, but it's still a couple of pounds off. So for me, I was over the moon. And it was then, you know, it is working. It's getting there. It's piecing myself together and all that sort of stuff as well. So I wouldn't ever go back on an old
process diet. At the end of the day, when you've got to reprogram
the rest of my life,
entire life, you've got to do it step by step. You can't.
These people look at diets as saying, right, I want to do. I'm not a woman, so I'm not going to stereotype all women in the same respect. But some women go, right, I'm going on holiday in July. I want to lose X amount of weight before July. Otherwise, it's going to be the end of the world.
Right? Yeah, it's the beach body. I want my beach body.
Exactly. So they want that, and they give themselves sometimes an unattainable goal, don't they? And that's why they're going to fail, and then that maybe that 2 weeks away, they indulge on all you can eat stuff in an all-inclusive restaurant or whatever.
I feel like it's kind of like the prequel to the holiday. They go, I'm going to lose a ton of weight so that I look
can
good
eat
for
like
the beach, and then when I get to the beach, I'm going to indulge in all the yummy stuff because I'm on holiday.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's fine because then I'll just deal with it when I get home. But actually what happens then when they get home, they don't worry about it because they haven't got to worry about it till next year for the beach body again.
Exactly. So then it's a vicious cycle next year, and just goes on and goes on. So why set yourself a limit? I've set myself a year to lose a certain amount of weight, but that has slightly changed now. So I've slightly changed the way I look at stuff. So I'm not too worried about getting down to maybe 11 stone or something like that. I don't think I want to be that low down. It wouldn't suit me as a person, would suit my build or anything like that. But obviously that's where I'm meant to be medically. I'm meant to be 11 stone-ish. So it's a huge difference. Yeah. So, but I've now come to think about it as I want to be down to a weight. Now, this is going to shock a lot of my friends and stuff because I don't really talk about it that much. But I want to get down to a certain weight where I can then, if I wanted to go and ride up Queen Elizabeth Country Park, I could go on a normal bike. I could ride up to the top, which is very, very steep, and I could do that all day long. I want to be a certain weight where my fitness levels are so good that if I wanted to go and play tennis, which I flipping love playing tennis, but I haven't been able to play for years because of my build, as soon as I started running about, my knees, my ankles would start hurting, everything.
Yeah.
I want to get to a point where I can go, I've never tried that activity before. Like, I've always wanted to surf. And can you imagine me surfing right now?
I'd quite like surfing, but I'm a little bit scared of the water. I've got a little bit of a fear of the sea, like what's under me.
Okay.
So I would like to surf. I love the idea of it. Love watching surfers. And I think there's a bit of coolism about. I have, but it was like
Zenism about it as well.
No, but hang on, it was very controlled because it was in the Bahamas and it was snorkeling with Stingray, where they were kind of in a pen.
No, Bahamas.
I don't know. Yeah. So it was in a pen. And so it was really, really controlled. So there was nothing else in there apart from Stingray.
Not really
the be all and end all. It still was a little bit like, ooh, be careful.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, a lot of people I know have the similar sort of things with water as well. But
but I think it's good to try new things. But you said something very concrete there, where you said about, because it's not. You said I'd like to get down to this weight where I can ride up and down Queen Victoria Country Park Hill all day long and get my fitness level, because actually you need a fitness level to do that more than just your weight.
Of course you do, yeah.
So, that works. That goes hand in hand. You need a fitness level and weight to change your lifestyle like that. What do you think was it that didn't work about the diet? Like, what was it, do you think, that failed? Do you think it was down to you? Do you think it was down to sometimes you're on medication? So was it the medication itself? Do you think it was mindset? Or do you think it was maybe even outside influences, like what people say to you? Was there anything that you think was a main stigma to why diets didn't work or did work, maybe?
Yeah, so one of the main ones, when I lost the 10 stone, I got down to a healthy weight for me, and I was getting a lot of negativity from friends and family saying, oh, look, you've done really well, but you look quite gaunt now, you look quite ill.
Oh, really?
And I was getting negative stuff because they've always seen you as a big guy, the jovial, funny, fat bloke and all that sort of stuff. So you were getting more and more negative opinions. And when you turn around to them and say, look, technically, I've still got another 4.5 stone to go to get down to what
I never thought you were going to say that. So by doing a really good job for your own health, people actually came with more negative comments than good.
Yeah. So you got down to, and I was still 15 stone, so I was still overweight.
Yeah.
But I was dressing differently. I was a lot smarter. I wasn't as outgoing as I was before. It sounds strange, but I've always said to myself, if I had that guy's body with my brain, I'd be a killer with the women. I'd have the best job ever. Rah rah rah. Because that and my brain, because my brain is so outgoing. Yeah. But it seemed to, with every pound that came off in the scales, I seemed to lose my
marbles,
cheekiness almost. No, my cheekiness almost. So I'd be able to, when I was a big fat guy, I'd be able to go, anyone, up to any girl in the pub or club, and start talking to them. I'd make some jokes and stuff. And then to the point where friends used to send me off almost like bait on a rod for themselves. And send me off, go and talk to them girls over there. I'd go and talk to them, bring them back to our table, and then I'd sit there like that going, I'm not going to get none of this because I'm a fat bloke. I'm just a funny fat bloke in the corner. So that was me. But the more I lost weight, the less I had that confidence, weirdly enough.
Oh, that's weird. So do you think you became conscious of your body? Like, maybe now they would be interested in me, so now I need to be something different.
So, yeah. So that's what it will boil down to. And
that's weird, because you just said yourself, like, you were the fat jovial guy and everyone liked that. So it's weird that you wouldn't realize that your jovial self actually is perfectly fine. Why would you need to change that? So
it got to a point where the fat funny guy is a mask, and the real person underneath is very shy, very which again, not a lot of people would know that I'm shy. A bit overly soppy, a bit an old romantic thinking sort of bloke. So I'm a bit weirder than most blokes out there. So
I don't think that's weird, Lewis. Don't tag yourself as weird on the inside.
Oh, no. Yeah, but to me, around the circle of friends I was in, that was not the, not the done thing in the 90s. So it's very much lad culture, wasn't it? With like what was on the telly and all that sort of stuff as well. So this mask used to come down and no one could see the real me. So the more I was losing weight, I was losing the mask more, and they were seeing the real me. So that would make me less. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. Not in a bad.
I understand.
Overthinking this shit.
No, but by losing weight, basically, you changed your personality.
I was losing my persona, so I was almost losing my Keith Lemon. So everyone seems to forget that Keith Lemon is a character over in the UK. It's played by a guy called Lee Francis. It's his real name, but he's got this character he's got on, which is completely different to his actual real self. So that's what I was doing without knowing it. This character I portrayed as like, I don't care about my weight. I used to have this really stupid curly long hair. And girls used to come up to me and start plaiting my hair in the pub and stuff. It was, it was cool. And I thought, I'm cool. No, you weren't. You look like an idiot. So the more and more you lost the weight, the more the confidence levels dropped as well. But like I say, these diets will work if your mindset was there. The diets didn't work for me, partly because I sometimes didn't want them to, and partly because my head wasn't in it. So it was all about my head.
Oh, you just said because partly you didn't want them to, so you kind of like your caricature.
I kind of like the caricature, So I hid my normal feelings for so long from people, and when I actually broke down for the first time and told my mum that I'd had all these problems and all these mental problems, depression and stuff, no one had any clue, because you hid it so well with this smiley, happy, never say anything negative to anyone. Just a nice, all-round kind of. I'm not an arsehole, but I'm just saying, a nice, all-round, nice guy that everyone just got on with.
But that's what mental health is. A lot of people they have to put this mask on, right? Because they're inside, they're crying or breaking apart, or they can't face the day. But they know that socially they need to still go out there, and so they have to put a mask on. But your mask literally was like a character. So you have your fat person character, the fat jovial funny guy that's friends with everybody and can go and chat up girls because you think they're not going to be interested in me. So it's like there's no risk. And then the second that there's a risk that someone actually might like you, you suddenly
when it's like,
it taps into that inner person. Go,
shells coming over.
So if they actually would like to date me, that means they'll want to get to know me, which means I need to show them a bit more than just
my
fat,
feelings.
funny guy. Okay.
So it got to this one point where we were in the pub. Actually, the picture I sent you the other day in one of the pubs, One Eyed Dog, I think it was, and it was just me and my mate Steve-O out. I used to found it sometimes better for me and him to just go out, because we had exactly the same brain in the way we talk, the way our jokes, and that sort of stuff. So it's always been me and him along the way most of the time. But we were both sat there and we're drinking away, and I said, "It's your round, dickhead." So he got up to go, and as he got up to go, this girl sat down in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, hello, you all right? She went, yeah, I was sat over there. I just wanted to come and talk to you. This hasn't happened to me before. They don't
Right.
do that. I do that
Yeah.
normally. I make a
Hang on.
fuss of myself.
Sorry. At this point, you're your fat character or your thin character?
Other than the thin guy. So
Thin guy
at this point,
Yeah.
so at this point, it's like, whoa, what is going on? So again, I found it hard to talk to her. I found it hard to, actually.
Get all mumbly.
Yeah. So even then, look, I couldn't really get my words out properly.
Am I showing too much shoulder?
Put it away.
God,
Jesus.
sorry.
I thought it was Madonna coming on.
I can't. It's the shape of my jumper.
Yeah. That's good. So it's one of them things. It's like my whole confidence levels went because finally women were actually paying attention to me and stuff.
Yeah.
And in the way that I've always wanted them to, but now they actually are. It's like, oh shit, I haven't got my mask anymore. And I almost felt like going looking around, going, "Where's my fucking mask on?" And but they would have become mental. So part
of that influence for why these diets don't work is a little bit of you doesn't want them to work.
Exactly.
And is that why as well you don't mind doing these diets that are for a period of time because you know it's not forever?
Exactly. Yeah. And when they another catalyst for me doing what I'm doing now is no one really wants surgery if they don't need it. But they'd all been saying that if you carry on doing the lifestyle you're doing and obviously doing all the damage you're doing to your heart and stuff like that, then you're going to need this weight loss to keep you going for longer.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm not against the idea of it because it's not a quick fix to the surgery. It's forever. So you would have to be very structured with it and very careful with it. But if I can do it myself, and switching around from good myself, then it's much better for my health going forward.
I think if you're able to heal yourself in any way to avoid surgery, I think that's really should be everybody's game plan. If there's a non-intrusive way of doing it, and
you've got these people that have paid thousands of pounds to have the same surgery done privately, but they're not getting the things you have to go through, the hoops you have to go through to actually get put up for surgery are huge. I mean, you have to.
But I think there should be huge hoops.
Yeah, of course, it's a life statement. So that you're spending NHS money basically fixing your fuck up, isn't you? So it's going back to the diets and stuff now. My diet regime. If anyone asks me, what's your diet regime now, Lewis? I'd be like, right, you've got to get the mind sorted first. But I'm going to bring out a diet book next year, and it's going to be page 1's going to be eat less. And page 2 is going to be exercise more. That's it. And anyone that says to you that won't work, their head's not there. If the head's there, eat less, exercise more. That's how we lose weight. That's simple as that.
And
if you're not in the right mindset, you're funked basically.
We have actually done a food and activity journal, which we will be discussing on a future episode. We won't tell you when that's coming out, but it will be coming out.
No. I think you'll be shocked though.
What do you mean?
I think the viewers and listeners will be shocked, won't they? Between the two, I think.
They think that I'm
no.
Don't
say anymore. Don't say anymore. But
I eat like a pig, honestly.
Surprised. Yeah, exactly. So she's a gannet.
Yeah.
No, but they will be surprised where we've gone from. Because I used to be a grazer. It's one of the words we've picked up before, isn't it? You graze all day long.
That's me. I'm a grazer. Yeah. But I graze on carrot sticks and hummus.
Yeah, which is right. I graze on whatever's in the flat. So it could be something nasty. It could be something.
Or
good,
like a Ryvita with some cream cheese, vegan cream cheese.
Yeah.
But I'll only have one or something. I won't gorge.
Yeah.
I'll just go. That took the edge off of my hunger, and now I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. The way a thin brain should react to grazing, whereas a lot of people can just graze all day long, can't they? Like they might do a bowl of peanuts in the evening, chocolates, like quality treats or roses or something, and they could be grazing all night long without even thinking about it, unconsciously while they're watching TV or movie or something. So going back to you, Natasha, I mean, like you say, you've not really done the diet thing before. What would you take away from this today? Obviously, you've seen that.
I don't want to do a diet ever. Like, I certainly wouldn't accept a tablet form.
It's taught me a bit of an epiphany today by what we talked about with sometimes my brain's not wanted to, because then I'd have to show the real me. But what do you take away from it, other than like you don't want to ever do a diet, which looking at you, you never need to do one, but
No. Well,
change the way you think about them.
Honestly,
do you think,
I do think about diets in a sense of a health thing, right?
Yeah.
So whereas you look at diets for weight, I look at diets for health. Just generally, you are what you eat. So I want to make sure that what I put in my body is feeding my body in the right way. And saying, like, we've touched on that, I'm a vegan, so I have this vegan diet. It is a diet. It's been bracketed as a diet, but actually what it is a lifestyle. So what that means is that before I was a vegan, I would often get, everybody eats a little bit too much at dinner. And when you get that feeling of you need to just undo that top button because you're a little bit full up. And I would often get kind of gas pains in my intestines if I've eaten like a lot of meat or something like that. And it's the biggest thing I noticed moving to a vegan diet. I never have to undo that top button, and I definitely never get intestinal pain after dinner. So the gas thing has gone completely. So there's a few reasons why I went vegan, and obviously there's animal welfare, which everybody jumps on top of first. But actually the biggest thing for me was just my physical body. Like, I want to be in charge of what's going in my body. And I didn't want to put meat in my mouth that I knew had been given antibiotics, had fear and adrenaline running through its body and going into the meat before it's killed, being then wrapped in plastic packaging, which plastic seeps into the meat. So there was all these things surrounding meat that just started to make me feel pretty gross about meat, and I was just instantaneously like, that's it, not doing it anymore. Same with milk. Now when I think of milk, I think that I'm drinking a cow, like I'm drinking another species milk. When you're breastfeeding, people would be like, you tasted your own milk? Well, yeah, I did.
That's gross.
Like, that's disgusting. Well, actually, what's more disgusting is you're drinking cow's milk, because that's for a calf. I tasted human milk, which is for another human. What's disgusting about that? If somebody came up to you and said, would you like a glass of dog's milk? You'd be like, what's wrong with you? That's disgusting. But, cow and goat's milk is exactly the same. So,
it's a bit odd, isn't it? So.
And the other thing for me, the diet, was environmental. Like, I want to reduce the amount of, or for me, stop entirely having livestock, because livestock is one of the biggest deforesters of the world, because they keep cutting down trees to have more grazing space for animals. And I don't like the farming industry. I don't like to look at an animal as a product. It's a life. It has feelings, it has emotions. So when a farmer just talks about an animal as a product, I don't get it. I'm just like, wow, are you so out of touch with the energy and the feelings around you that you are able to just completely cut into that and go, but it's just a product. I don't care about how it feels. I don't care what lifestyle it has, as long as it feeds my purse,
Exactly, yeah.
So for me, diet is nothing about weight ever for me. It's always about health. It's always about the longevity of the planet, or should I say the human race, because it's actually our existence that's at stake, not the planet. So, and then, for me, it works. I changed my entire lifestyle because of this veganism, and also just being an environmentalist. Like, I literally took on this whole lifestyle. I've always been active. That never changed in me. But now I'm always way more conscious about, I'm only going to buy stuff that is ecological as well. So I don't want, I can't think of the word right now, but you know what I mean? The poison. What is it? Why can't I think of my words? I've been in Denmark too long. I've forgotten how to speak English. Pesticides. I don't want to eat pesticides. So I always buy ecological, and I also grow a lot of fruit and vegetables in my garden. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a green
So
thumb.
you've taken you cover the whole ethos of the veganism as well as the dietary side of things as well, don't you? So which is great.
A
And
lifestyle, it's
exactly.
and then it works together in harmony, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
eating because of the way I want my physical body to feel and
Yeah.
work, but also for everything around me to
Yeah, so
continue
in
working.
future, the bigger the podcast gets, the people that we want to partner with are going to have the same sort of ethos, aren't they? So we want them to be sustainable, we want them to be, healthy and all that sort of, obviously healthy, but we want it to be ethical and all this other stuff as well. So it's one thing we look at, both of us as well. Not me so much as you, but obviously it's dear to you, so it's now dear to me as well, which is the way it should be.
Definitely, what I take away from listening to you is that I think if you are suffering from being overweight and you want to lose weight, that definitely this talk has shown me it's not about just doing a diet for a period of time and then I've seen my mum and my sister do them, and they would do these slim fast things,
cabbage diet,
the shakes and stuff like that, and you're just like, okay, but when you stop doing that and you go back to eating normally, you just gain it all on again. But if you just I remember my mum when she went out to Australia just like for a Christmas period for 3 months or something with my sister, and they would do power walking every morning. Yeah. And she lost a ton of weight just by power walking. And she was like, it's great, Tasha. I would like start my day, I would just power walk with Claire down to the beach. The views are nice, the weather's nice, the sun's making me feel perky. She's getting her vitamin D.
Yeah, of course.
She's moving her body. She feels active. She felt great. She looked amazing. And she was like, look at all these clothes. I've had to go out and buy new clothes because everything's just swimming on me. Yeah. So it's really the key element is it's the whole package. You've got to be active. Yeah. You've got to want to change as well. If you're happy just sitting in your same shit and looking at your life like everything is shit. Everything around me is crap. People are negative. I've got nothing going for me. I've got no job. I've got no girlfriend.
All right, Natasha. All right, calm down. Attack Lewis.
No, because you've got a girlfriend. I'm not attacking you. I'm just finding things that I hear people complain about their life, right?
Yeah.
And I just think, well, you have to. Only you can change that. So if you're not ready to make that change, you'll never make that change. It's the same with hypnotherapy. If you don't want to be hypnotized, they can't hypnotize you.
No.
So it's again a mental play, right? So it's the three things: mental, physical, and what you're putting in your mouth.
There you go.
Diet.
Okay.
Diet.
There you go.
Mental and physical. There we go. Perfect. So failed diets will always fail if you don't implement those three key elements.
And before we sign off from today's podcast, I've been Googling as we've been speaking, as you might have noticed. Just going back to that milk diet again. The milk diet is there for 7 days before surgery to reduce the size of the liver. Because the liver is the place where, if you've got a large liver like I have, it needs to be smaller to get into the stomach to do what they need to do.
Right.
So that's what
liver.
There's enzymes in the milk that will shrink the liver down, so quite a good size. Now you use the same thing for gallbladder diet operations as well. So
yeah, my mum had to go on a specific diet before she had a bladder.
That was fact, Natasha. That was actual fact. Can you imagine it?
Oh my God.
There you go. I know, right?
You're pulling out facts on me.
Even better. I know, right? So that's done for today, guys. Thanks for listening in again. Thanks for watching us. More of the same coming for you next week. And ta-ra!
Bye.